Okay, so this is Faith Fighter. We're gonna do. It's pretty much a mix of Mortal Kombat and religious figures from all over the world. You have six options to play as characters. There's God, Jesus, Buddha, Budai, Muhammad, and Gensha. The point of this game is to be the superior religion by beating all of the other religions, and there are special moves that each character can perform. I'm not going to go into detail on it because I'm only going to play as Buddha, but they all have certain plays that they can do, which buttons you can press, and special moves that you can do. One of the other interesting features of the game is, if you notice the first few seconds, there's a normal or a censored versions that you can select. We're playing the normal version now, but in the censored version, Muhammad's face is censored with a black dot over it. It's interesting because the creators of the game only chose to censor his character, but not anyone else's. That's an important point that I wanted to bring up because um, in my point of view, none of the religious figures should actually have their faces be showing, and in this game, I think that people who are religious would be extremely offended. The fight that I'm doing right now is Buddha and Budai, and if you look at the scenery, it looks like you're in a eastern country. You have some semi-modern buildings, and if you listen to the music, it kind of portrays that Eastern Asian-esque. Um, the reason I chose this game was because it portrays how all religions are fighting throughout the world, and it really isn't getting anything done. Another point of the game is when you finish the game, when you beat all the religions, there isn't a cutscene or an award ceremony. It just says the end, and then it's back to the main title. In a sense, it leaves the player unsatisfied because they realize that there really isn't a point to the game. It's just pointless fighting and nothing is coming out of the fighting. Just like in the real world, all of these religions are fighting or arguing and it's not getting anything productive done. Instead, something needs to be figured out about the real problem, and the religions of the world should start working together. Now, in the censored version, his face wouldn't be shown. There would be a black dot over it. Also, I want to point out the scenery of the game because it's just interesting how with the opponents that you fight, the scenery and the audio changes. So when you're looking at the background of this one, it looks more of a Middle Eastern country, and you can see the flames in the background. It's pretty much portraying how some people view the Middle East, and I think that's interesting. Now with Jesus's background, it's very modern, and then if you pay close attention in the background, it's a flying spaghetti monster. So even if you're not fighting all of the religions, the creators still found ways to show the religions in it. See, it's coming up right now. Then when the scenery changes, there's still flames in the background, but there's a Statue of Liberty. You can see the White House. If you look close enough, it's interesting what you can see in the background. With the point of the game, I agree and disagree with the game because it portrays the religions fighting each other and it shows that the world needs to change. But I disagree with it because it's very stereotypical when it's portraying the religious figures. I'm not sure if religious people would be offended by it or not, but it's one of those things that, I don't think that the religious people would really be fighting a game called Faith Fighter. However, the game did make me realize that we do need to change the stereotype of religions in the world and really work on stronger bonds with countries around the world. Now, when you're fighting Jesus, he's in America, or it's portrayed to be America. But when Buddha's fighting God, you're back in the Middle East. So, I'm going to point out this, isn't Jesus a Middle East figure and God an American figure? So that's another thing that the creators got wrong about the game. It's very stereotypical in the sense that they just assume that some of these religious figures are some certain parts of the world. overall, the game is entertaining. It's interesting to hear what each character says after they win. They all have these certain quirks. Now the final boss. Now the final boss is Xenu, and if some of you didn't know, that is the religious figure of Scientology created by L. Ron Hubbard. In the last battle, you are seen fighting in outer space with Xenu. The audio is very outer space. It's very science fiction-like audio. Um, it's interesting because he's a secret player. You can win him at the end if you beat him, and then you have 7 players that you can play with. Now, as soon as you beat him, you'll see this. This is the ending I was talking about. It's just you're meditating, and then it cuts to the end, and then you're seen back at the title screen.